the Bishnoi movement. This movement took place in the year 1700s. She witnessed the destruction of both her faith and the village's sacred trees. This movement took place in the year 1978. In 1973 February, the Planning Commission approved the project. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 5 on the chapter Human Communities and Environment. Today I shall talk about the environmental movements. Under that, first one what we have is the Bishnoi movement. This movement took place in the year 1700s in the place Kejarli, Marwar region in Rajasthan state, and the leader is Amrita Devi along with the Bishnoi villagers in Kejarli and the surrounding villages. What was the aim of this movement? Why this movement actually took place? That is, to save sacred trees from being cut down by the king's soldiers for the new palace. So they wanted to save the trees from being cut down, and it was started by Amrita Devi. So here Amrita Devi from the Bishnoi village, of Kejarli, here what happened exactly? The trees were cut down by the soldiers for the building of the king's palace, and she just could not take it because she witnessed the destruction of both her faith and the village's sacred trees. So she started, hugging the trees along with few more of our friends from the village. She started hugging the trees and encouraged the others also to do the same so that the trees will not be cut down. But because of this, almost 363 Bishnoi villagers were killed in this movement. The Bishnoi villagers were influenced by the teaching of Guru Maharaj Jambaji, who founded Bishnoi faith in 1485 and set forth the principles forbidding harm to trees and animals. So all the Bishnoi villagers followed this Guru, and in their faith it was a crime to harm trees and animals. Thus, during this movement, 363 villagers lost their life, yet they continued the movement till king himself came, apologized and stopped the soldiers from logging of the trees, and then the king himself designated Bishnoi state as the protected area forbidding harm to trees and animals. This legislation still exists today in this region. So this was the first movement to save trees. Next is Save Silent Valley movement. This movement took place in the year 1978 in the Silent Valley, an evergreen tropical forest of Palakkad district in Kerala. Leaders are the Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad, KSSP, an NGO, and a poet activist, Sugata Kumari, played an important role in Silent Valley movement. What was the aim? The aim was to protect the Silent Valley, the moist evergreen forest, from being destroyed by the hydroelectric project. So what exactly happened there? In Kerala State Electricity Board proposed a hydroelectric dam across Kunti Pula River, that runs through the Silent Valley. In 1973 February, the Planning Commission approved the project and sanctioned 25 crores for the project. Many feared the project would submerge 8.3 square kilometers of untouched moist evergreen forest, and several NGOs strongly opposed for this project. Finally, in January 1981, owing to the unrelented public pressure, Indira Gandhi declared that Silent Valley will be protected. And in June 1983, the center re-examined the Silent Valley project, and then, in November 1983, Silent Valley hydroelectric project was completely called off, and in 1985, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi formally inaugurated the Silent Valley as the national park. So it took a very long time for calling off this hydroelectric project and to save Silent Valley from all the destruction. So that's about the Silent Valley movement. The next movement is Tehri Dam conflict, which happened in the year 1990s. Place Bhagirathi River near Tehri in Uttarakhand. Leaders Sundarlal Bahugun. Aim: the protest was against the displacement of the town inhabitants and the environment consequences of weak ecosystem. So this is the Tehri Dam which we can see. Okay. What exactly happened? Tehri Dam attracted the national attention in 1980s and in 1990s. The major objection include the seismic sensitivity of the region, submergence of the forest area along with the Tehri town. So what happened here is the town was getting more and more sensitive to seismic sensitivity was there. Seismic sensitivity means it can be prone to earthquakes. Okay, so there was a seismic sensitivity, and if something happens to this dam, there can be submergence of the entire town along with the, a lot of forest area. So despite the support from other prominent leaders like Sundarlal Bahugun, the movement has failed to gather enough popular support at national as well as the international level. Okay, so that is about the Tehri Dam conflict. Next is the environmental ethics. What are environmental ethics? It refers to issues, principles and guidelines related to human interaction with the environment. So what are the issues? What are the guidelines? How do we interact with the environment? Put together, we call it as environmental ethics. So what are the ethical guidelines that we have to follow to save environment? First of all, we should not forget that the nature or the environment is not only belonging to human beings, it is belonging to all the living species which is there on the earth. So the earth is a habitat of all the living species and not only belonging to human beings. We should not forget that all of us have a right to live. Next is the natural resources and the energies are depleting fast, so we have to try to save them and conserve them. Also, we have to involve in care of earth and experience nature and save our environment. Also, we have to respect nature. We are part of the nature. Nature is not us. We are just part of the nature. So we need to respect, and we have to think of the global cause and act for local protection. Okay. Also, we should keep ourselves informed about the ecological changes and the developments what is happening. We need to observe the austerity, reserve scarce resources for future as well as for a future generation. So we should not completely finish off all the resources what we have. We should think of sustainability, how we can use the resources sustainably and save the resources for our future generation. We have to cooperate, be honest, affectionate and polite to the society as well as the nature around us. So these are the ethical guidelines for us to follow to save environment, so that the environment does not get completely destroyed now and we can save it for the future generation. Next, coming to the environmental protection in different religions in India. In different religions, there is importance given to environment. Okay, how we have to take care of the environment. how environment is considered to be sacred in different religions of India, they have told. So we'll see few of them here. Hindu philosophy provides a solid foundation for the doctrines of ahimsa. In Hinduism, we have to follow ahimsa, and also we follow the concept of karma and rebirth. Okay. Also, Hinduism considered nature as the body of God. So it's considered to be body of God. That is how sacred environment has been considered as in Hinduism. The environmental protection in Vedas is also there. So what exactly is written in Vedas? Vedic literature about 1500 BC, it was there, clearly speaks that there is an integral balance with man, nature and God. The elements of nature has been considered as sacred, and we are not supposed to pollute any of the elements which is present in nature, which is written in the Vedic literature. Also, Buddha has also set down few of the rules of polluting the rivers, ponds and wells in Sutta Nipata. Okay. Jainism places a great emphasis on the principles that one should reprise from avoidable acts that are harmful to oneself and others. Jainism follows ahimsa, isn't it? So we should not create any harm for ourselves, as well as we should not create any harm to others. So that is what is followed by Jainism. The Quranic message is one of unity, harmony, balance and order. It stresses that the nature's law must be observed and one should not cross their limits. Okay. So this is the message which is given by Quran. So different religions in India are talking about the nature, how we are supposed to protect the environment so that we can be a part of nature and we can respect nature and also save nature for the future generation. Okay. Next is about the public awareness. What is public awareness? Why we need to create public awareness? The public awareness is very important. We have to know, or all of them have to know, what is the problems which is happening in the environment and what can be done to stop those problems, and also what are the solutions for those problems which we can find out, and we are the ones who have to avoid the further destruction which can happen to the environment. So one should keep themselves informed about all the environmental problems and objectives of various environmental policies at natural and in the local level. So objectives of public awareness goes this way: to create awareness among the rural and city about the ecological imbalance, about the local environment and technological developments which are happening, to organize meetings, tree plantation programs, group discussion on development and exhibitions have to be conducted, to focus on current environmental problems as well as the situations which we have, also to train our planners, decision makers, politicians and the administrators about the environment, and also to eliminate poverty by providing employment that overcomes the basic environmental issues. Also, we have to learn certain methods, okay, to create environmental awareness. What are those methods? First one, environmental education must be imparted to students in schools and colleges, just like how you have EVS as a compulsory subject. In schools and colleges, what are the problems that has been created to the environment and how are we going to conserve it? It has to be taught at school level itself. Also, media like TV, radio, cable network can educate people on the environmental issues through cartoons, documentaries and street plays. Also, cinemas about the environmental education can be done, and it can be played or it can be screened in theaters compulsorily, and this film may be released with tax free to attract the public. Also, all the newspapers and magazines must publish the environmental related problems. Also, special audio visuals and slideshows should be arranged in the public places so that we can create public awareness. Voluntary organizations like NCC, NSS and clubs, certain clubs should be effectively utilized for creating environmental awareness. Also, arranging competition like storytelling, essay, collage competitions, on environmental issues has to be held. Not only that, we can also take help from the public leaders, cine actors and popular social reformers can make an appeal to the public about the urgency of environmental protection. So these are different methods which we can use to create public awareness and save the environment for ourselves and for the future generation. We can save environment and save ourselves as well. I hope you have understood this particular chapter. Stay tuned for more updates.